Hello everyone, Daria here, and welcome to episode number 43 of the Slow Russian Language Podcast. I'm recording this episode in Omsk, Siberia, and I'm sorry if the quality will be a little worse with some noise on the background, because I don't have any studio here, so it's quite noisy. And since I'm here, I've decided that it's just a perfect time to talk about Siberia, because many students ask me questions, especially students from the States, from Australia, from China. Many people think that Siberia is some territory far away, all snowy, extremely cold, with bears parading on the streets, and some people think that it's even some independent country with its own language, its own president. So let's try to make it clear today. First, I will read a text about Siberia in slow Russian, and after that, we'll translate it sentence by sentence and talk about some interesting vocabulary. Here comes the text. Сибирь. Это может показаться странным, но даже многие россияне не понимают, что такое Сибирь. Обычно под Сибирью понимается область Российской Федерации в северо-восточной части Евразии. Это огромная территория от Уральских гор до Дальнего Востока. История Сибири очень интересна. В состав России она была включена в XVI веке. Долгое время Сибирь была местом ссылки преступников. Например, писатель Достоевский провел там несколько лет. Сегодня Сибирь – огромный современный регион. Самые крупные города – это Новосибирск, Омск, Красноярск. Кроме того, именно в Сибири находится всемирно известное озеро Байкал. That was it for the text. Now let's try to translate it. So the name was Sibir, Siberia, Sibirь, Sibirь. And the first sentence. Это может показаться странным, но даже многие россияне не понимают, что такое Сибирь. It may sound strange, but even many Russians don't understand what Siberia is. So this expression «казаться странным». Странный means strange, weird, something not normal. In Russian, it's странный. So here in this sentence, it's strange that Russians don't know their own country, don't know what exactly Siberia is. Это кажется странным, но многие россияне не знают, что такое Сибирь. And it's true. I mean, people know that it's part of Russia, but where exactly it is located and what's going on there, I guess some people have no idea. Okay, the next sentence. Обычно под Сибирью понимается область Российской Федерации в северо-восточной части Евразии. Usually by Siberia we mean a region of the Russian Federation in the northeastern part of Eurasia. Here we see interesting construction. Под Сибирью понимается. Of course, it doesn't mean that under Siberia we understand something. No. Понимать под чем-то means actually to mean something. For example, here, when we say Siberia, we mean a region in the Russian Federation. Usually this construction is used with verbs понимать, like here, to understand, or подразумевать, but it's more difficult. Под Сибирью подразумевается область Российской Федерации. Again, by Siberia, we mean a region of the Russian Federation. Then we see северо-восточная часть Евразии, and its northeastern part. Northeastern. Северо-восточная часть. And the next sentence. Это огромная территория от Уральских гор до Дальнего Востока. It's a vast territory from the Urals to the Far East. Here is the adjective we already met. Огромная. Огромный means huge, very, very big. Or speaking about the territory, it's vast, vast territory. And by the way, the word территория sounds almost the same with English word. Urals, in Russian, it's Уральские горы. So it's mountains in that region, Ural. Ural, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. U-R-A-L. And I've come from there just a couple of days ago. Love this place. And we're moving to the next sentence. История Сибири очень интересна. The history of Siberia is very interesting. Here you might notice that we used a short form of the adjective интересна instead of интересная. And in short sentences like this one, История Сибири очень интересна, we usually use the short form. For example, она очень красива. She is very beautiful. Of course, you can say она очень красивая, but when the sentence is that short, usually we just drop that last letter, я, and leave красиво, интересно, хороша. So the history of Siberia is very interesting. Okay, the next sentence. В состав России она была включена в XVI веке. It was included into Russia in the 16th century. I'm sure you know the verb включать, to turn on. For example, включать свет or включать телевизор. The second meaning of it is to include something. For example, here there was a territory, Siberia, and in the 16th century it was included into Russia. Сибирь была включена в состав России. For example, you are planning a party and you can tell someone, I've included your name on the list. Я включил твое имя в список. So there is a list with names, with guests, and someone is in that list now. Включить имя в список. Okay, the next sentence. Долгое время Сибирь была местом ссылки преступников. For a long time, Siberia was a place of exile of prisoners. We started this sentence with долгое время, for a long time. And the synonym of it, the short version, is долго. So you can say just Сибирь долго была местом ссылки. The word ссылка, it can mean a link, like on the internet, ссылка, link. And also it means being banished, being exiled, especially political prisoners. So instead of going to prison, going to jail, they were sent to Siberia in small villages, living and working there. The most famous ones were Decembrists. I'm not sure if it's like that in English. In Russian, it's декабристы. They were the revolutionaries of the 19th century. We'll talk about them later when we get back to Russian history finally. And by the way, we forgot to talk about the word преступник, criminal. Преступник comes from the word преступать, переступать. Usually it's the phrase переступать через закон, means to break the law, to step over the law. So it's преступник. And the next sentence. Например, писатель Достоевский провел там несколько лет. For example, the writer Dostoevsky spent several years there. And by the way, not anywhere else but Omsk. We have a museum here in the house where he spent his years of banishment. And by the way, here he wrote his famous novel «Записки из мертвого дома». Actually, the biography of Dostoevsky is very interesting, and I hope we'll talk about it in the future. But now we're moving on. Сегодня Сибирь – это огромный современный регион. Today Siberia is a huge modern region. Сегодня here means not exactly today, this day. It means just nowadays, in modern time. But you can just say сегодня. So today Siberia is a modern region. Огромный современный регион. Huge modern region. Okay, the next sentence. Самые крупные города – это Новосибирск, Омск, Красноярск. The biggest cities are Novosibirsk, Omsk, and Krasnoyarsk. Interesting adjective – крупный. Крупный город, big city. You see how many synonyms we have here for the word big, large, большой, крупный, огромный, all in the same text. So here, крупный город, big city. Usually by big city, we mean a city with more than 1 million citizens. For example, in Omsk, it's 1.5 million. Novosibirsk is even bigger. So, of course, there are no bears, no wild forests in these cities. It's absolutely modern, and if you want to see some pictures, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Real Russian Club there, and I will stay in Omsk till March, so I'm gonna post some pictures from Omsk, obviously. So if you want to learn more about Siberia and get rid of some stereotypes, go to Instagram. Okay, the last sentence. Кроме того, именно в Сибири находится всемирно известное озеро Baikal. Moreover, in Siberia, there is a world-famous lake Baikal. This expression «кроме того» you can translate as «besides that» or «moreover». So this famous lake Baikal is located in Siberia. Baikal is, I guess, the deepest lake in the world, and the water in it is so pure, so clear, that the ice is almost transparent in winter. So if you're planning on traveling to Russia, maybe you should consider going to Siberia, Baikal. It's a very tourist place, I'm not sure. Anyways, everything is organized pretty well there. It's my dream to go to see Baikal, especially in winter, but unfortunately it's very, very expensive. Not so expensive for foreigners, I guess, but for Russians it's, pretty much. I guess I will even add a picture to this episode with the Baikal ice. So if you want to check out this episode with texts and pictures, you can visit my website as usual, realrussianclub.com/slowrussianpodcast/episode-43. Yeah, pretty difficult link. Or just go to my website and you will see where the podcast episodes are. So that was it for the text, actually. Now let me try to read it again, this time faster, so try to understand it. Here we go. Сибирь. Это может показаться странным, но даже многие россияне не понимают, что такое Сибирь. Обычно под Сибирью понимается область Российской Федерации в северо-восточной части Евразии. Это огромная территория от Уральских гор до Дальнего Востока. История Сибири очень интересна. В состав России она была включена в XVI веке. Долгое время Сибирь была местом ссылки преступников. Например, писатель Достоевский провел там несколько лет. Сегодня Сибирь – огромный современный регион. Самые крупные города – это Новосибирск, Омск, Красноярск. Кроме того, именно в Сибири находится всемирно известное озеро Байкал. So that's it. As usual, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can contact me on my website, realrussianclub.com, or my email, realrussianclub@gmail.com. And if you go to realrussianclub.com/subscribe, you'll be able to follow my free email course. And that was it for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you in the next episode of the Slow Russian Language Podcast. Bye-bye!